Hey everybody, welcome back into a video. So, I guess Sonic Frontiers is it's really exploded in terms of interest. Really surprised. And of course, there's going to be some bad takes out there, and as we are going to be going over another one. But first thing before we get into that, I gotta say, the video where I kind of responded to Switch Force's really bad take on it, I want to say thank you to everyone who really enjoyed that video and supported it, because I'm very grateful, because I wasn't sure how that video would do, and I'm beyond grateful that it's gotten that much support and that people really like it. That kind of means a lot to me, so, I fully stand behind that video. So, thank you all very much. So it's kind of crazy why that video exploded. So, that was kind of crazy. So, that was a total surprise. So, once again, thank you all for that. Now, anyway, let's get on to the actual topic of this video, where this is a website I'd never heard of, called Laptop Magazine or something like that, where they essentially, did a hands-on impression of Sonic Frontiers, but they framed it, but it seems by the time of the article, it seems like they were trying to frame it as a review of the game, even though the game is not going to be out for another 5 weeks. So, which is kind of weird. And also, they, of course, like every media that is trying to downplays 3D Sonic for so freaking long, they have to bring up the dead horse. You could probably already know what dead horse I'm referring to. So without further ado, let's get into it. Sonic Frontiers shows that some of that classic promised its linear levels, but the free roam elements that took up the majority of our playtime feel slow and repetitive, made even worse with an awkward camera angle. Frontiers is the grand return to a 3D platformer for everyone's favorite hedgehog, created off of the back of a wave of researching popularity after years of development. But after going hands-on with some of the free roam section and the linear level, we're left with a lot of fear. An open world game featuring this mascot has been almost unachievable to dream over the year, with only Sonic Heroes standing out from the middling like Sonic Adventure. That is slander! And the 2006 Xbox 360 iteration of Sonic, which nearly killed this franchise for good. Oh, here we go. Anyway. But yet, Sega still believes this formula can work. We all got just as hyped as before when Frontiers first announced. Can it deliver? Not really.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Ah yes, so the usual rhetoric of having to bring up a dead fucking horse that is known as Sonic 06. It's been nearly 15 goddamn years. Actually, no, it is actually been 15 years, actually. Almost 16. That's probably a better way of putting it, but still. What is the media's obsession with bringing up Sonic 06? I get that game is, very controversial for a lot of reasons. And what, does the media journalists get aroused by just thinking about it every time they cover a 3D Sonic game? Are you really still butthurt over the fact that a human female character kissed a blue hedgehog? Are you really still upset over that 15 goddamn years later? Really? Really? Move on. Leave it in the past. Grow up. Move on. Move on. What does that have to do with the franchise at this point? Nothing. So why do you continue to bring it up? Especially since the fact that, for those who, might not remember, at the end of the game, literally the events of the actual story, outside of Sonic and Elise, kind of remembering, where everyone lost memory of the entire events of the game in general. And the series essentially moved on from it. So I think it's time that you journalists actually grow up and move on from it. Move on. Because I am getting sick and tired of it. A lot of Sonic fans are, because it's ridiculous. It's been 15 years. Move on. Anyway, moving on. I call these early hands-on impressions because that's exactly what they are. I played a 15-minute chunk of the game at this year's EGX show. Of course, these may change when I play the full product, but in this demo, I got to experience both exploring one of the Starfall Islands and teleporting to one of the more standard linear levels you expect. So my adventure started with a goal of collecting 2 teleport pieces, which meant exploring a part of the island and finding my way around. If these sections are the vast majority of the game, then we got problems. To get there, you run across an open world. Again, it's not an open world. it's open zone. Get it right. Taking advantage of certain classic Sonic tropes, such as the bumpers and grind rails. On the face of it, Sega's tried its best to overcome a lot of what went wrong into the 06 version of Sonic. You kind of get where it's going with this. Scrapping the enough walk and talk element in favor of playground with plenty of toys to interact with. But if anything, these further highlight how this formula really doesn't work in a 3D game. The sense of speed is lacking. The gameplay of attacking repeated waves of enemies while finding a standard set of items got repetitive quick, over the space of a few minutes, and most annoyingly, the camera really did not help out the situation. I've had my fingers crossed that Sega had an answer for this from its last attempts, be it a more fluid manual control camera, or a smart automatic option that gave you the best view of all times. In reality, the company doesn't seem to have one, as depth perception for hitting platforms is still problematic. But then, I went through a teleporting thrown to the next part of the level, and, well, this is a glimpse of Sonic greatness I really wanted to see. Much like Sonic Heroes, it was a What? I'll address that when we're done with this part. It was a linear 3D action high speed run, 3-level interesting obstacles and multiple routes, but simply is what I wanted the entire game to be. A rapid part run that challenges your reaction time to move across different parts of this vertically stacked level to maximize your return on golden rings and power-ups. This model felt great, but it came after 75% of the demo focusing on the free roaming section, which just felt downright dull. If this is pacing you could expect, then my concern for the health of this hedgehog is rising.
Read from sheets. I am Sofa King.
Sofa King.
We Todd Ed.
We Todd Ed.
Now repeat all very fast, please.
I am Sofa King.
Faster.
I am Sofa King. We Todd Ed.
No, not so fast.
Yes. So, where the hell did you get that of your ass? Like, did you actually play any of the previous Sonic games? Because if you did, you would kind of know that Sonic Heroes is not a boost formula game. You're 4 goddamn years early with that. Because that started in Sonic Unleashed, not Sonic Heroes. And if Sonic Heroes did, it would have the boost formula, and you'd be playing as 3 different characters in 4 different campaigns. Not just playing as Sonic, during the daytime with the boost formula. So you're way off base. Like, I'm actually questioning if you actually played the game or not. Because what you're kind of describing is not what. Like, Sonic Heroes is not the right comparison at all. Like, if you were to say, like, Sonic Generations, then you would have more of an argument. But you don't. And something tells me you really might as well go play Sonic Generations, because if you're expecting Frontiers to just be essentially Sonic Force 2.0 or Sonic Generations 2.0, you're in the wrong place. I hate to tell you. So if you're just hoping to be another boost formula game, I hate to tell you, that's not going to happen. So, and Sega themselves have said that this new open zone formula, they want it to be the foundation for the series going forward. So if you don't like it now, you're going to have a tough time when it comes to 3D Sonic games. Just saying. Now let's finish up this article. The Blue Hedgehog was nearly killed by his 2006 outing on 360. Frontiers does improve on that formula, but that formula is definitely tainted. Maybe it's time to give up the 3D free roaming aspirations. That's not to say there's zero enjoyment here. It's just in a place where Sega seems steadfast and refusing to focus on the linear levels that really show the speed and twitch reaction gameplay. But it's all slowed down by repetitive open world structure and annoying camera that, unless they take changes, will make this game hard to recommend.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
Yeah, so basically because they want to compare it to Sonic 06, again, constantly bringing up the dead horse. A game that is 15 years old. And also, I didn't realize the action stages of Sonic 06 were open world. Like the hub one. See, this is kind of what I get. What blows me, that people think that a hub world is the same as the open world / open zone game. Those are 2 entirely different things. So, how the hell did you come to that conclusion? That the game improves, Frontiers improves on Sonic 06's formula. It doesn't. Because if it did, Sonic wouldn't be the only playable character for starters, and two, the actual, stages would be, because if you really think about it, the open zones are essentially just, giant open world Sonic levels when you really think about it, because they, split them up into 5 zones, like a typical Sonic game is. So how do you come to that conclusion? See, this is kind of what I mean, where this article is like a pretty bad one. Not to mention, it's pretty unanimous from everyone who actually played the goddamn game, like it. And you're sitting here, kind of downplaying it, like a lot of journalists seem to do with 3D Sonic games over the years. I mean, and also the whole Sonic Adventure thing being middling. Bruh, that game set the foundation for 3D Sonic completely. Completely in terms of a 3D Sonic game in general. And you're calling that middling? So how, because essentially seems that you're a Sonic Heroes fanboy, which is kind of funny because Adventure 1 and 2 set the bar or foundation for that. So wow, it's kind of amazing to see all these bad takes around Sonic Frontiers for some reason. For whatever reason, this game is bringing out some really terrible takes, which is kind of weird because you would think, just based on the history of 3D Sonic, that there wouldn't be, but yep, here we are. And I am getting sick to death of hearing the bullshit with Sonic 06. Move on. Like I said earlier in this video, move on. It's 15 years old. Move on from it. Jeez. No, and you wonder why you're getting backlash for this article, as you pointed out on Twitter. So, I wonder why. Because you actually did a very bad take on the game, and I think it's pretty obvious that makes me doubt that you actually played it. Because if you did, you wouldn't be saying some of the things that you said in this article. Just saying, the whole Sonic, that the cyberspace stages play like Sonic Heroes, because they don't. And if they did, you would be playing as both Tails and Knuckles and switching between the three, which you aren't. You're only playing as Sonic. And Sonic Heroes is not the boost formula. Like I said before, that started 4 years later with Sonic Heroes. So, no. I don't think so, no. And you wonder why people are calling you out. Just saying, because it's a pretty bad article. So, and based on the unanimous reactions I've seen, hell, I've had friends who told me that the game increased their hype for the game after they played it. So, yeah. So based on the word of mouth, it seems like Sonic Frontiers will actually be a great game. So, and I'm looking forward to it personally. So, but yeah, what a dumb take from a journalist. So, which is kind of not surprising, and people wonder why gamers don't take journalists, that seriously, because it's a joke. So, because they framed it as a review, just looking at the title of the article, when in reality it's a terrible hands-on impressions. But hey, that's just me. So anyway, what do y'all think? Let me know down in the comment section below, and if you like this video, hit the like button and consider hitting that sub button so you do not miss out on any more videos, whether it's Fanboy Saul or just covering games in general. And I will see y'all in the next one. Have a great one.